Let me bring in a guest who's joining us from Washington at the moment. I'm joined by Michael Rubin, former Pentagon official, senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute. Appreciate your joining us, Mr. Rubin. But before that, just to let you know that US President Donald Trump a short while ago spoke, and he too on India and Pakistan gave us some breaking news. Trump said he was the one who stopped a nuclear conflict. That was the breaking news that came in a little while ago. Trump said, I told both sides to stop fighting. Trump claims he pressured India and Pakistan for a ceasefire and will do a lot of trade now with both. Just listen to what Donald Trump said, and then I'll get a reaction from my guest in Washington.
On Saturday, my administration helped broker a full and immediate ceasefire, I think a permanent one, between India and Pakistan, ending a dangerous conflict of two nations with lots of nuclear weapons. And they were going at it hot and heavy, and it was seemingly not going to stop. And I'm very proud to let you know that the leadership of India and Pakistan was unwavering, powerful, but unwavering in both cases, and having these. They really were, from the standpoint of having the strength and the wisdom and fortitude to fully know and to understand the gravity of the situation. And we helped a lot. And we helped also with trade. I said, come on, we're going to do a lot of trade with you guys. Let's stop it. Let's stop it. If you stop it, we're doing trade. If you don't stop it, we're not going to do any trade. People have never really used trade the way I used it. That I can tell you. And all of a sudden they said, I think we're going to stop. And they have. And
Michael Rubin, how are we to see what Donald Trump said a while ago? Is America truly playing the role here of an honest deal maker? Or is this Donald Trump simply not following any process when he claims credit for bringing this conflict to at least a pause at the moment?
Well, the thing to understand about Donald Trump is that he also single-handedly won the Cricket World Cup. He landed on the moon, and he invented the internet. The fact of the matter is Donald Trump is prone to exaggeration, and he's also speaking to the American audience. He shouldn't be taken literally. I am absolutely sure, however, that the United States was scrambling behind the scenes to try to pass messages along and to try to derail any escalation that could lead to unrestricted warfare. So I think it's a little bit untoward, it's impolite, it's navel-gazing for Donald Trump to try to claim credit for everything. It does India a disservice and Pakistan a disservice. The last thing is what I would read into Donald Trump's comments is still a troubling deference to moral equivalency between India and Pakistan in terms of who was the aggressor and who was the victim.
That's a great point you made there, Michael. Is that a worry, though, that Donald Trump, and that's a worry here in New Delhi, that here is an American president not making a distinction between the perpetrators of terror, and not just terror against India, but as Prime Minister Modi enunciated, against the world. This is the same country that housed Osama bin Laden. So does Donald Trump need a lesson, in a sense, in South Asian geopolitics when he tries to equate India and Pakistan, the perpetrator of terror, with the victim of terror here? And why is he
Well, I think, first of all, we saw that Donald Trump needs a lesson in South Asia when he said that this conflict had been going on for more than 1,000 years across the border. The fact of the matter is Donald Trump doesn't know the details. He's often speaking from the cuff. The good news is, however, he has a strong relation with Prime Minister Modi, and he also has a team which understands the reality of South Asia much more than the president does. And so then the question is, how do you allow the President of the United States to save face while getting spun up to speed on the situation? We have seen, for example, in American reporting, that in the more than 100 days which Donald Trump has been in office, he has skipped all but 12 of his presidential daily briefs, the daily CIA briefings about world affairs. Perhaps he really does need an education right now.
And the point that you make also in a tweet I saw, that here is a president who failed to stop Pakistan, the nuclear threat which has been held out from time to time whenever there's been a conflict between India and Pakistan. Today, Prime Minister Modi making it very clear we will not be deterred by nuclear blackmail. Does Donald Trump recognize the dangers that, dare I call it, a rogue army state in Pakistan holds while it has the nuclear button, and therefore needs to send them a tough message?
Put it this way. He will ultimately understand this. I worry about the damage that could be done before he doesn't. And you know what? His legacy, if he's not careful, is not only going to be the exasperation of the situation in Pakistan, but it's also going to be Pakistan transforming Bangladesh into a twin of state sponsorship of terror. And so, look, every president since George H.W. Bush had his foreign policy legacy defined by the crisis which no one saw coming during his campaign. And Donald Trump is no different. He wasn't thinking about India or Pakistan when he was campaigning against Kamala Harris. However, the way he reacts now is really going to be how history judges him. He's dug himself into a bit of a hole, but it's not too late to dig out and recognize the reality. But I would also put some of the onus for educating Donald Trump on Prime Minister Modi. He has a personal relationship. He needs to use it. The historical analogy I would make is when Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait in 1990. President George H.W. Bush wasn't sure how to respond. And Margaret Thatcher, with whom he had a personal relationship, said, "Don't go wobbly on me now, George." We need a similar moment between Prime Minister Modi and Donald Trump.
I'll come back to you in a moment, Michael, because you're making very, very strong and very important points.